Alright, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of my Car Mechanic Sim 2021 YouTube series. We're working our way through the Jaguar DLC at the moment, and right now we are looking at Jaguar F-Type, which is as of recording, the third car out of 4 in the DLC. We have our fourth Jaguar here sitting here, and that's going to be in the next episode, so you'll get to see that one soon enough. So yeah, she's in not so bad shape. We've got a lot of question marks, but that's to be expected. But the stuff I was able to check when I bought it were not in the best shape, but it's better than a lot of other ones we've worked on. So we look at the numbers here. Paid 77 for it, or 75 for it, excuse me. We could sell it as is without touching it and make 1,500. Obviously, we're going to go for a lot higher than that. So, yeah. Paid a little more than I wanted for it, but the nature of the auction game in this particular iteration of Car Mechanic. Let's get the front bumper off. Oh, that took a whole bunch of stuff. Good. Yeah, we're just going to... Okay. That counts as... Sure. Like I said, we're just going to pull everything off. Get the trunk. So the glass will come with it. Body window, the door, all that good stuff. Oh, forgot the window on this side. Good thing I checked that. Some interesting looking tail lights, that's for sure. I think that's all the stuff we could pull from the outside, because you can't pull the sunroof. Before we do anything else, let's do the frame repair. I'll get the rest of this looking nice and shiny. We're going to paint this a different color, by the way. I know on the previous car it was like, ooh, pretty, because, you know, it already had that nice little bluish green paint job to it, and I was able to fix all the panels and make it look nice. This one, I think we're definitely going to repaint it. I'm thinking maybe a metallic red. Maybe a little bit of a difference, because the first two Jaguars were almost identical in color. I didn't realize that until... I didn't pay that much attention to it until after I recorded the second one, and I look at the thumbnails, and I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah. No big deal, but still. Got the headlights, got the side mirrors, all the windows, looks like. Alright. First things first, we're getting rid of the headlights, or the license plates, and now we're going to get the headlights. So, because these are not repairable. The windows aren't repairable either. So, we're going to mark them, and then we're going to sell them. Alright, so we get rid of that one, that one. Well, it's easier just to replace them. Look, it's not easier, it's practically required, because the whole point of this series is we try to restore these to 100%, and since you can't fix them, got to replace them, so... Alright, looking good so far. Sweet. Go ahead and put on what we've got. Trunk's missing window, but we'll go ahead and put the trunk itself in there for now. Hood back on there. That's such a tiny little fender. Yeah, even in this not so good shape there, they, like I said, paid a king's ransom for this thing. But I have a feeling once we get done with it, it's gonna be pretty expensive. Speaking of expensive, not the next DLC, but the DLC after. See, okay, so here's the basic plan I have here for the series so far. I know it kind of evolves as I go along, but once we finish the Jaguar DLC, we're going to do a couple of, you know, non-DLC cars as kind of like a breathing room there for try to get a little bit of spacing between going from one DLC to the next. The next DLC is going to be the Hot Rod DLC. I've already got all 5 vehicles for that. That one's going to be quite an ordeal. Excuse me. Then maybe another couple of non-DLC cars, which I already have bought, by the way. But then we get into something interesting, just to kind of give you a little bit of a taste of, you know, future events here. I just got the last of the 3 cars for the Pagani sports car DLC. These are probably the most expensive cars I think I've ever played with. I paid way too much for them. In fact, one of them was well over 6 figures. I ended up selling the cars I was saving from previous episodes just to kind of keep my bank balance close to where it is now, because I was spending quite a few in-game bucks trying to buy the Pagani sports cars. The only one that wasn't like stupidly expensive was the one I found in the junkyard. The other 2 were auction finds, and I paid a fair premium for it. Not a fair, just I paid a premium price, let's put it that way. Okay, so let's go to the bodywork area and look for... Okay. Right tail light. You. Left tail light. Got you. Body window. Door window, thank you. Other body window. Other door window, thank you. Got a windshield here. Trunk window. And we got the first headlight. And a second. Oh, come on. Okay. We're back in assembly mode. Only was that easy to install glass in real life. Okay. Now we're going to put some custom tags on it. My standard issue ones on here. Be nice if they gave us presets. But hey. Ain't the end of the world. Just takes us a minute to get typed in. Okay, accept and buy part. Thank you. Okay, that should get us... Okay, body and frame are 100%. Let's get the interior knocked out. Oh. I had to be in the correct mode first. No, there's not even any back seat here. Nice. Alright. So, get back in normal. And mark all 3 of those and get rid of them. Probably could have fixed them up, but that's okay. No big deal. All washes out the same at the end. And put her in assembly mode. I like the stitching on that steering wheel. Center part's a little wonk, but hey, I'd still drive it. Interior 90, so what are we missing? Okay. Says we're missing an interior piece. Or something's not up to spec, but everything should be 100%. That's 100%. That's 100%. That's 100%. Is there an additional piece I'm supposed to put in? There is, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I think I know what it would be. I think we probably got bit by this on the previous Jaguar. Opening the trunk up there kind of gave me a hint. There we go. Apparently I forgot to clean all these when I bought them. Or clean the interior. Usually I'm more careful than that, but it is what it is. It's a minor screw up. It's not the end of the world. So this is already sitting on its own 4 wheels here. Let's go ahead and take this thing to paint so I can not want to gouge my eyeballs out looking at this thing. Okay. This is how it came from the auction, by the way. It was in 2 different colors. They wanted to give it a look, I guess, that like somebody was making an attempt to fix it, which, yeah, emphasis on attempt. That's not bad. An interesting color scheme for that. I mean, that almost works there. It almost looks pink on my monitor, but in the color palette, but it's actually almost it's like a bright shiny copper. I am liking that. Okay, so we'll stick with that. Do we have no liveries? Really? Okay. Solid color it is then. It's still going to be two-tone, but I think that's kind of part and parcel with the the look of the car, but at least the hood is now the same color as the rest of the vehicle. Ooh, shiny. I'm digging it. Alright, let's get her back in the garage here. Probably not a color you'd see on this typically, but I think it kind of works. And plus, it's a color we don't tend to use very often on the cars in the streams, or on the recordings anyway. Or even when I streamed it, I don't think we maybe made one car this anywhere close to this color. Let's see. So we're, like I said, 100% on all three here. I think. Oh, ooh, that engine looks like it's in decent shape, but we're still going to pull everything out. So, because we're going to end up replacing a lot of this anyway, let's pull all the fluids. We're going to get this thing to 100%. We got to basically take this whole thing apart, even though it's in reasonably good shape. I mean, this thing will probably start right now if we wanted it to. This is in better shape than some cars I've seen out here in my part of the country. Okay, so for the oil, we're going to have to get it from underneath. Bring her up, Scotty. Alright. Oil looks to be in good shape. Must have replaced it before they put it on the auction block. Trying to go for the immersion angle there. Okay, so we got that out. Next, we need to get... She's got a transfer case. How... Oh, this is all-wheel drive. Very nice. I don't think we've dealt with one of these before. Very cool. Drive shaft's gonna have to come out. Okay, we'll have to get the other drive shaft out. Oh, that one just pops right off. Okay. Never mind. Oh boy, that's a lot of bolts. Yeah, I'm oohing and ahhing this also because I've never driven a vehicle that's all-wheel drive. I was pretty close to actually trying to buy a Subaru Outback at one point. I like the cargo space, I like the options, but the thing was, to get the options I wanted was a little above my price range. They wanted like $42,000 for the one that I was after. I was like, I don't want to spend as much as I paid on my truck for one of these, even though it's really nice. Don't get me wrong. I am not knocking Subaru in the slightest. In fact, I wish they'd do a DLC on here. That would be awesome. Or maybe in the next game that comes out. Exhaust sections, we'll just nuke those. We'll see if we can repair the rest here. But yeah, the Subaru makes great cars, but man, their shit got expensive last year. I mean, they're already pricey to begin with, but I digress. They're one of the few car companies I would look at that if I were to actually want to pay that kind of level for it, I would actually consider it, because they do tend to make decent vehicles. I ended up going with something much cheaper. Much cheap. Well, still overpriced, because you gotta remember last year the used car market went bonkers, and that caused a whole hell of a racket with even new car sales. Prices of new cars went up because of, you know, chip shortages. And yeah, it was just a big old mess all around, and I ended up overpaying for my 22 Equinox, but I like it though. But it gave me the same kind of features, and I paid about $10,000-$12,000 less. So, but it didn't have as much cargo space and safety features, but it was still worth it for me, because I traded a 13 Equinox for a 22, so it was not like I was downgrading in any sort of meaningful way. Well, for the most part. Anyway, so we got the exhaust off, we got the fluids, we got the gearbox and the transfer case off, we got both drive shafts. Everything's fixed up to 100% in terms of those, including the starter. So I think should be able to pull that engine out now. Even though this car's in really good shape here, all that's going to do is save us from buying a few parts. But I do want to go through the standard process of pulling the engine out, rebuilding it from the ground up with as many performance parts as possible. Same thing with the exhaust. We're going to redo the entire exhaust from, tip to tail. And do mostly what we've been doing on the previous episodes. Only in this case, we're doing it to a very expensive car. A very nice car. Alright. So I don't really need to pop the hood. I don't think. Oh, that's cute. If you don't have the hood up, it automatically pops the hood up for you. That's handy. And yeah, we'll end up either fixing or replacing all the reservoir tanks out here. We'll take, since this car is basically, from the looks of it, it's parts complete. Like I said, I don't think there's anything major missing. So it's mainly just going to be pull everything, fix what we can, replace what we can't, and then, well, that way we get everything up to 100%. We might actually not have to pay an arm and a leg for a bunch of replacement parts. But we'll see. Right. No, don't want to do the parts table or the parts repair yet. Let's get... Yeah, like I said, it's not in horrible shape. I mean, but we still want to fix her up. Ooh, that is one densely packed engine on there. Holy shit. Okay. Looks like we're going to have a fun time with this one. Yeah. Basically, we're going to do like what we've done with every other engine. Tear it apart. Put all new stuff in. That's much performance related as possible. Buy new stuff as we go along so everything gets to be 100%. And we'll see how everything goes. That's a top fitting. Ooh, that's interesting. Placement for the filter there. Yeah, let's get cracking. I've seen that on a few cars. I think, let's say either Audi or Volkswagen, I think, had something like that. Or maybe I'm thinking of Subaru. One of those brands, one or more of those brands, I think, had something like that. Had those top facing oil filters like that. Can't get that off yet, so let's grab that. That's blocked by that, which is blocked by all this garbage down here. Oh, right. Get that. Now we can get the belt. There we go. That needs its pulley first. That's a big supercharger. Alright, let's nix that oil filter. Here, what's holding you on? Oh. Here are the fuel rails. Oh, cool, we leveled up. Not that that does me any good, but... Alright, got spark plugs out. Let's do the same for the other side. There we go. Okay, so you're freed up now. Right. Do the same for the other side here. Oh, this one's already good to go. Come on out. There you go. Look at that pitting on that. Ew. Nasty. Here. Fill off there. Oh, you got another belt tensioner. That. Start digging into the front here. That's a lot of rollers. Alright. This alternator off. Go. Steering. Another roller. Finally can get the water pump off here. Goodbye. Timing cover off. Good. Where? Seriously? Alright. Guess we're going this way. Okay. When we get the shoes out of the way, we'll get the shoes out of the way, even though I'm not sure I'm supposed to be able to get to those yet, but sure. Oh, I imagine once you get the bolts out, it probably just slides, so I guess it's fine. Okay, now we can get the timing chains off. Yay. And out come the cam gears. Come on, move over. Thank you. Sometimes you gotta lead the camera by the nose. So far, so good. We haven't had too many troubles with this disassembly. While I've got everybody's attention here, I want to thank everybody for just this really fast growth of the channel. At least to me, it's fast. We're closing in on. I think we actually just crossed the 400 view mark. And we're just, like I said, each one of these videos, y'all have been absolutely crushing it. They're like dozens, we're in the dozens of views already for some of the newer episodes that I just put out a few days ago. And it's like, just amazing. You guys have been super generous going over there and taking a look at this stuff. And those who are watching right now, or will be watching this in the future, thank you too for coming by. I know there's a lot of channels out there, probably people with a lot more professional skills than me. I'm glad you came by. Appreciate every single one of the viewers. You guys are awesome on that stuff. Hopefully, you know, we can keep this momentum up and build this channel up, and maybe someday I can start getting some of my stuff monetized, maybe. Depending upon how badly I end up pissing off YouTube with some of my content, which most of my content's not, you know, offensive or anything, but you know how it is with the, you know, pleasing the algorithm gods on YouTube. There's a bit of a process involved, which usually means a lot of, you know, hoping for, you know, you don't run afoul of their whatever algorithm they use to, you know, promote your content. Which, trying to get details on that's like trying to ask the dead, you know, a question. So anyway, Alright, let's get this oil pan off and then we'll start taking all this stuff apart. Start with the crankshaft bearings. Or bearing caps, excuse me. The only thing we're going to save from this motor is, just like we do on the previous episodes, we're just going to be saving the crankshaft and the engine block, and we're going to be buying all new parts from, basically from the ground up. I found that to be a pretty okay way of doing it, since trying to remember just by looking at a list what is performance and what isn't was kind of... I think it was just less error prone the way I do it. I know it's longer, probably not the most efficient way of doing it, but it works. That's the thing about these kind of games. You find whichever way to do things on here, and if it works for you, keep doing it. Even if people tell you you're doing it wrong. Alright. Engine block. Crankshaft. Okay. So that's what I wanted to do. There we go. Part mount. Sweet. And then for everything else, I'm going to sort by condition. And we are going to sell everything that's not 100%. Or close to 100%. Right. Okay, shiny new engine block, which the previous one, well, in its previous condition wasn't that bad a shape, but you know what I mean. Alright. We're in assembly mode, and we'll start making our parts list. Fuel filter. V8, so 8 pistons with conrod. 3 crankshaft bearing caps. Bearing pump. Your alternator. Go ahead and get that roller. And the water pump. I think that's everything we could do with this round. Hang on. We're in the wrong shop. There we go. Now we can start buying stuff. So we got our flywheel. That's a performance part. Fuel filter, definitely. So we'll get that. Pistons with conrod. Yes, please. Good. That's a standard part. Power steering's a performance, even though it's only like a 1% increase. Alternator. You. That's a standard part, and that's a standard part. Okay. We'll go over here, but first, get ourselves a standard set of piston rings. And then we'll get the rest of the list. 3 bearing caps, thank you. Idle roller B, U, and water pump. Get all this stuff installed, and then we'll move on to the next round. And here goes the water pump. And fuel filter. We don't... Oh, right, because we put that one over there. Should have got a second one of those. Take care of that. I didn't realize I needed a second one. I only looked at the first one and marked it instead of looking at both. What I get for being in a hurry. Let's get these crankshaft bearings in. Or bearing caps, excuse me. I keep saying just bearing instead of bearing cap. So, my mistake. Alright, Get these pistons and... there you go. Last one. Have any other parts? Nope. Alright, let's start marking the next generation here. For the next round. Right. Water pump pulley, head B, head A. We're good on parts there. Let's go ahead and flip back over to performance, and we'll get the clutch plate. Rod cap's a standard part. That's a water pulley. That's a standard part. So head B, thank you. Head A. We'll get the rest from the other shop. And yes, I did just accidentally delete something. It's a standard part anyway. Let's see. Caps. Cap. Okay, we're gonna have to mark those. I accidentally deleted it while I was clicking on things. 8 of those. So let's get the rest of these. Oh. Rest of these rod caps put in. We'll get the oil pan on the next round. And once we get the oil pan installed, we can write the engine and do the rest of the assembly a little bit easier. Neat. That's it on that round. Let's do... Oh, it's a good thing I checked the camshafts there. They have 2 different sets of camshafts, one for each side. Alright. Go over here. I think these are, yeah, these are performance parts. Right? Filter's a standard part. Supercharger's obviously performance part. 2 exhaust manifolds. Gotcha. A clutch pressure plate. Yes, please. Thank you. And like I said, we'll be going to this part for the rest. So oil filter, oil pan. Let's get the pan on so we can write the engine. Camshafts installed. Supercharger put on. That thing is, ooh, that's shiny. be... That's everything. So, let's get the next round. Okay, we're going to need 8 of those, and we're going to need... Looks like 5, so we need 10 of these per side. Yeah. I need 4 cam gears. Auto roller, throttle. I think. Yeah, there we go. Let's get all that ordered. We got anything that's... Yeah, we got a couple of performance items, at least. Spark plug. Need 8 of those. Oh, there we go. Throttle was the other one. I think the rest of this is standard. They're all standard parts. Cam gear, we're gonna need 4 of those. Roller A, give me, and our good old-fashioned clutch release bearing. Alright, put that on first, then we won't have to worry about that part of the engine ever again, hopefully. Except for the rest of the assembly, but that's going to be a little ways yet. And we've got 1 row done. Come on. Well, almost done. This little part. Go. Get the spark plugs in there. Go. Okay. Move on. That roller put on. It's kind of working our way around the engine. Okay. These rest of these camshaft caps put on. Come on. Trying to click on things a little too fast there, and it's moving the camera around a little too much. Oh, there you go. Right. Good. Anything else? Nope. Now we get to do the next round here. I need 2 of those. Any of these? I don't think any of these are... Yeah, this is not a performance part. It makes it look cool, but I don't think in most places they would call that a performance part. Now we need to get the... Anything else? Except for the cover, of course. Alright. Get Cover B, cover A. Get those on. We'll probably see the pop-ups for the fuel rails and the coils. Let's see. None of this is considered performance parts, I don't think. That. Cover A, thank you. And 4 timing shoes. Okay, there's 1. 2. There's a 3rd. And there we go. Let's get the other engine cover on. That might be it. So we'll do the next round here. So this is 8 of those, 1 for each spark plug. Let me move the camera over. Kind of look to see if there's anything else. I don't think there is. Go ahead and yeah, the ignition coil is definitely a performance part. The rest of this is all just regular parts here. So let's just get those real quick. I can't wait to get this one on an engine dyno. Imagine it's going to do pretty darn well. Now when we get to the Pagani stuff, I mean, I was just looking at the factory numbers, and I think one of them came in at somewhere around 725, 750. It was just some ridiculous number like that. And that was before all the enhancements that we're going to put in it. Really looking forward to that DLC when we get to it. Okay, looking good. What else we got? It's it on parts. But now we could do the fuel rails. Go. Need a pulley. Couple of rollers. All this is... Oh, the fuel rails are performance part. If memory serves. There we go. Rest is standard parts. So we get that. 2 idle roller A's. Cute. Little bastards installed, and we're going to be looking at a rat's nest of belts here in just about a second. And get that. That. Belt. I'm gonna need 2 of those, so I might as well just go ahead and buy it. Nope, nope, nope. Hey, I remembered something from earlier. Oh, we didn't get the fuel rails put in, did we? We did not. I always check your parts list. When in doubt, look for extra parts. In a situation like this, if you have extra parts, you didn't put something in or you forgot to order something. With that, looks like one completed, freshly rebuilt engine for this particular Jaguar. Looks a lot better than it did. I mean, the previous one wasn't in like that worse a shape, but all the performance parts on it make it a little bit shinier. Let's get that off the stand, shall we? Okay, check the part numbers, or the part percentages. Everything looks green, nothing looks like it's missing. Awesome. We are going to grab everything and anything and everything out of here. Come with me. Thank you. Oh, we gotta get the intercooler from underneath. Ew. Okay. Do that after we get these off. It's interesting, it's got two air boxes. Come on. There you go. All we should have left is the fuse box. And get the camera to play nice. Actually, no, we got the ECU and the brake servo. And then the fuse box. And then we'll get the intercooler from the underside. Okay. Let's get her up in the air. We'll snag that intercooler before we forget. Alright. Bit of a mess here, but I don't think we could fix up very much of this. Okay, so ABS module we can save. Pump looks like it's good. Fan's fine because it's not a performance part either. Radiator is a standard part. Okay. Good. Good. I think it's just the fuses we couldn't fix, among other things. We're going to go ahead and fix up this intercooler, but I also want to check to see if that is a performance part. I think it might be, but I'm not 100% sure, but there's an easy way to find out. There you are. I just want to check the performance part page real quick and see if it is. It is. Okay. So, fix that one up for nothing, but that's okay. Just nuke that one. Okay, so all the clips got repaired. That's nice. Apparently we couldn't fix... I'm not surprised we couldn't fix the fuses. Those generally aren't a kind of thing you fix, you just replace them. Okay, so and all this stuff is standard issue parts, easy to replace. So we're just going to go ahead and mark those. Right. Sell everything that's not super good condition. Excellent. Now, go here. I'm gonna get all the electrical stuff first. Medium fuse type B, we need 3 of those. Good. 2 relay type A's. 2 relay type B's. Filter base type A, that's not... Medium fuse type C. Medium fuse type A times 2. Four relay type C's. ECU type A. Good. Good catch there. And the rest of this looks like we're going to get it in the standard parts bin. Right. 2 type A bases. Good. Although the filter is a performance part, but we'll get to that. The filter itself. I'm going to get everything else here first, though, since we're already buying stuff. Okay, washer reservoir, coolant reservoir. Okay, we'll skip the air filter and go to the power steering reservoir. And go over to the performance shop and get 2 of these. Okay, first things first, get over here, assemble, get that intercooler put in. Okay, we're getting the rest of this stuff put on. Right. That. Radiator put on. Go. Okay, filter base. Fancy filter. Cover. Where we get the clips put on. Right, get the other air filter put on. Last of these clips put on. Okay, all the fuses installed. Okay, we're almost done. What else we got? Anything? starter. Right. I believe we're missing a few parts. Must have accidentally sold way too much. Oops. Apparently I got a little frisky with my sales there. Though I shouldn't have been able to sell any of the stuff that was 100%. But yeah, let's check the rest of the engine compartment. We'll order the stuff as we need it. Everything else looks good. That's a first. Alright. Usually I'm a little more careful than that when it comes to selling parts, but somehow I managed to check that up. And we're also going to need a I'll get the transfer case after we get the gearbox and the starter put on. We're not going to worry about the drive shafts until we get... We'll get the drive shafts on order. We'll order them, but we won't put them in. Gearbox anymore. Need transfer case. Front drive shaft and regular drive shaft. Neither one of those are performance parts, so we'll go ahead and order those. Keep them on our inventory for now. Yeah, that's why I didn't see them. Okay, that helps to check your filtering, I suppose. I figured, I was like, man, I don't remember selling those, but I didn't realize I somehow managed to change the filter while I was flipping through all this. Alright, so back in business here. So we're going to get exhaust done. And that sent me 20 miles away. Okay. Two catalytic converters. Two middle mufflers. Two front exhaust. One gigantic ass muffler. Sure. Alright, so now I'm going to try to fix those up. We're just going to replace them with performance equivalents. Do the front exhaust sections. Two catalytic converters. Two middle mufflers, aka resonators. Rear muffler F-Type. Okay. Got just the two front parts. Could be it. Okay. Let's do the fuel system next. Assembly. Get rid of the stock fuel pump and fuel tank. They're both on the list. The tank itself is just a standard part. Got fuel. I haven't even touched the rims, which I normally do earlier in the stream, but let's just say I got distracted with things. Now we're going to do the tires real quick and get them all off there. I was good at times any since we're going to be pulling them off for the suspension, which should be all we have left to do. The engine compartment should be done. The fuel system exhaust is all done. Yeah, we're not doing too bad. We're just changing up a little bit how we're doing things. Totally not planned. Let's get the tires taken care of, and then we'll pair into the rear suspension. Okay. Yeah, the rims, we should be able to fix them up just fine. Okay, separating the second one. Should be the last of them. Alright. Let's fix the rims, and then we'll go back and get some new tires to put on. Looking good, and these are two different size tires, which that's going to be fun. One thing you gotta be careful, you always want to double check that before you go buying tires willy-nilly here, because some cars have the same size tires front and back and others don't. In this case, we don't. Same model of tire, just different proportions. So this is 295/30. Okay. Verify. 295/30 R20, 295/30 R20. So we can get rid of these. So now we just need the 255, which is 255/35. Okay. Double check. 255/35 R20. 95/30 R20. Yep, everything looks good. Everything mounted and balanced then. Okay. balanced, and then we'll hold on to... I was going to put them... Normally I'd put them back on, let the thing set on the wheels, but we're getting ready to do the suspension work, so no sense putting them on right now. Those will be ready to go when we get the suspension done. Nice. Now, since like I said, since this looks like it's parts complete, so we're just going to take it apart, fix it all up, and if we have to buy anything, then we will. Otherwise, it's going to go right back in. Guess we're going to go this route. Alright, let's get the bushing out, and then we can get this suspension arm out of the way. Get these bushings up before I forget about them. The bushings will have to be bought brand new. Those are not fixable. Which, if that's all we have to buy, we'll be doing pretty darn well. Got ahead of myself there. Come on, come out of there. Thank you. Oh, right, we still have the end link. Alright, that's everything for the rear suspension. Let's go see what we can fix up. Kind of in focus mode here, so bear with me. I have been looking at that one automation or whatever it's called. There's a game where you can basically build cars from the ground up and sell them. And oh, come on, bunged up on one part. I think I managed to recover it. There's like a car automation game where you can, or automaton or automation, whatever the heck it was called. I was thumbing through its store page. And actually quite a few that weren't fixable. Interesting. But yeah, like I said, it looked like it could be right up my alley. It's a little more in depth. It's a lot more in depth than this game, but it looks like a promising game to play and something I can easily turn into like an episodic format. Sell parts. Staying 90 or below. Good. Yeah, we still had quite a few to buy, but not as many as we could have had I just said screw it and we'll buy all new stuff, but like I used to do. So we'll get ourselves 8 rubber bushings. 8 small bushings. Okay. Alright. 2 end links. 2 rear springs. 2 regular brake discs. 2 shock caps. 2 rear shock absorbers. Sway bar, thank you. 2 hub bearings. And 2 brake pads. Alright. Good to go on that. We are going to, oh, yeah, we're going to go ahead and put the regular drive shaft in. We're going to leave the all-wheel drive, the one off the transfer, the other part of the transfer case for when we do the front suspension. Come on, back the camera, please. These rubber bushings put in before we get. The rubber bushings, you got to keep an eye out for them. If you're not careful, you wonder, sitting there, you know, wondering why you can't put a part in, and then you're just like, look off to the side and you're like, oh, okay. We need to have a bushing put in before this thing registers that there's a part that can be placed. So just making sure I got everything else before I put the tire back. Oh, hold up. Let's put the wrong size tire on. Let's get the rest of this side put on. Drive axle on. Brake. Almost forgot the suspension arm. Come on, get in there. Oh, wait, hold up. We're putting the right one on. I almost put 2 different size tires on the back. That could have been bad. Could have been very awkward. Put the car down on its own wheels and all of a sudden it goes right up on blocks and you're like, what? Okay. That's everything back here. We get to do the same thing to the front. Get this torn apart, and then we'll do the same thing with this that we did with the rear suspension. Just fix up what we can, replace what we can't. Go from there. No, back up. Rubber bushings out. Wouldn't let me spray it until after I selected the part. Get this last tie rod set off here. Oh, got the bearing. Now we can take the rest of it off. Right, we need to get that front differential and get that placed. Other than that, I think that's everything. Get this these suspension assemblies pulled apart first. Alright, let's see what we can fix up. We may not be able to repair everything, but this will help us kind of keep costs down and simplify our buying a little bit. Hopefully. Alright, let's see where that left us. First page looks good. And we still have quite a few that couldn't be repaired. That's fine. Okay, sell everything that's lower than %. Leave us with, yeah, okay. We still have a fair bit of stuff to buy, but it's not too bad. And getting ourselves a couple of ventilated brake discs. Inner tie rods. $12 rubber bushings. Remember, 4 for each pair of suspension arms and then the cross member. Okay, brake pads. Front caps. 2 front springs. Wheel hub bearings. Outer tie rods. Come on, fingers work. Bam. Shock absorbers. Front sway bar to round things out. And 2 end links force head sway bar. Before we do that, let's get the assemblies put back together. Oh, it'll make the reassembly of the front suspension go a lot smoother since I don't have to stop and do this. Rock on. Alright. Let's do this. Get the essentials on here first. Bearing rack. Front differential. We're down here. We'll put the front drive shaft in. That's got both its bushings. And got the bushing back there, so I think we're okay. Or I can throw the steering knuckle in on the other side. Back up. Thank you. You click on the wrong thing, it zooms way in. And you can't see nothing. Drive shaft installed. There we go. Brake and the caliper. Oh, we're missing the tire rod. I was like, why isn't the tire lighting up? Oh yeah. Skipped a step. There we go. Now we can put it on. Yeah, we're just gonna put this back together real quick. Nope, back up. Thank you. Alright, before we check the part percentage, let's get all the fluids put in. I think it's going to knock us off a few points if we don't have that in there. Work our way around here. The brake fluid next. We're going to deliberately overfill it just slightly. Don't okay, don't freak out or nothing. I've learned that from doing the story missions, where if you don't overflow it or overfill it slightly, it doesn't always count it as being full. We got coolant, washer fluid, brake fluid, oil, and power steering. I think that's everything. Check our inventory, make sure we're on the correct filter this time. And there you go. 100% condition on everything. Feeling good about this one. Let's get you over to the alignment shop. We'll get the headlights and the wheels aligned. We'll take it on the speed track after. Okay, that takes care of that. Okay. Move this to exit 1 for the garage parking lot. We're gonna take some screenshots. We're gonna make a nice little thumbnail for the video here. Excellent. Let's take her off to the speed track. Actually, hang on. Never did do the dyno, did I? I didn't. We can do the speed track first. No big deal. Doesn't have to be any specific order. I do want to dyno it before we turn it loose, though. I want to see what the numbers look like. Alright, there we go. 110, 120, 30, 40, up to 50, 160, 170, 180, and 184. There we go. $184 miles an hour. Not too bad. We'd have had a little more runway, we could have got it probably up to 185, but it's fine. Okay, one last thing I want to do before we punch this thing out. Well, cash it out, you know, get rid of it. Basically, we're going to take it to the dyno. We're going to give it a quick run. So 550 standard horsepower, 481 pound-feet of torque. So we'll see what the numbers look like afterwards. Hopefully we're going to get at least a good 50% increase. But we'll see. Okay. Okay. Drag ratings in A and 688, whatever that means. We're not doing the we're not taking this to the drag strip, that's for sure. But yeah, 482 horsepower gain, so it's an 88% increase. 401 pound-feet of torque, an 84% increase, respectively. So yeah, we topped this thing over just a hair over 1,000 horsepower. Not bad. Not bad at all. Wow. Okay. Let's get her back outside. And let's look at the final numbers. So, we bought the lucky thing for $75,900. You can see the numbers for the condition and the parts bonuses and the body condition. We made almost 111, a little over 111,000 in profit for a total of 187,000 and some change. All in all, not a bad haul at all. I figured we were going to do well with this one, but I wasn't sure how high it would go. But yeah, 187,000, I'll take that, considering how much it cost to get the darn thing in the first place. Boom. Alright, so next up will be in our follow-up episode after this. We're going to be doing the XJ220, and this one's in a similar condition to the vehicle we just sold. It's going to be, it's not in like 100% shape, but it's pretty decent to where we should be able to just fix up most of the suspension parts and body parts and then put them all back in. We are going to change the color. So, looking forward to showing that to you in the next video, and I appreciate you watching this far. Like I said, this is going to be the last of the Jaguar series, and then we'll do a couple of non-DLC cars and then go on to the next DLC, which will be, like I said earlier, the Hot Rod DLC, which is about 5 cars in it, so we'll have quite a bit of content there too. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next episode.